Your thoughts on Scott Hall's passing?
Obviously, it's a tragedy. I mean, I actually first met Scott back when I was during that 1989 summer of '89, and just in passing, and I'd kind of forgotten about this until I started really sitting down and reminiscing earlier last week with some friends, and it just kind of came back to me, and I remember that. I was, like I said, there was one time I remember when I was sitting in the locker room, and I can't remember for sure if it was when I was working with it, but it was around that time that I was working on a show with him. And I just remember he was really, really nice to me. It ended up being a point where I was sitting in the locker room. There was really no one else but him. He was kind of sitting across from me. He was just asking me, hey, how's things going? Blah, blah, blah. And that was my first introduction. I just remember him being really, really cool to me. A kid who no name, and I was just trying to stay out of everybody's way, and I just remember it being a really good conversation. And then of course years later when we worked together in WCW, we always had a great relationship. We never really were close friends. I mean, but we always he was always cordial, and I live down in Orlando, and for many years I lived in what's called Avalon Park, and he lived really, really close to where I live, it was called Chiliota, which is just right around the way from where I lived. And then I moved back to Atlanta in 2013 when Dallas moved back to help Jake. I actually moved back because my mom lived in Atlanta at the time, and I was helping him at the accountability crib with everything with Jake. And of course, Scott ended up coming up too. So I was there. I was in the process of going back to Orlando about the time Scott came up. But yeah, so we always we were, I would say, good as associates, but I was never really close friends with Scott. But just he was always good to me. And every time I was around him, he was always. I always felt that Scott had somebody who had a good heart, and obviously, there were some challenges there that that he had to deal with. But it's just a tragic ending, as far as just that. I'd heard some details about, that he had fallen and due to his hip injury, and that he might have, been where he wasn't. No one knew that he was in trouble for a couple of days, and that's just, no one should have to go through that. So I really hate that was. That happened, right there, that kind of was, kind of what's, I guess, that sealed his fate as far as his health there at the end. But yeah, I mean, and I got to know his son briefly when his son was breaking into wrestling, not real well, but just a little bit, because he actually worked at one of the restaurants there in the Ale House in Orlando, where me and of course my friends would go, because it was close to where we lived. And I don't know if he's pursuing anything with wrestling anymore. You may know that, but his son was always a very well mannered, very disciplined, always hardworking young man. And I feel for his family, I really do. But he left a great legacy in pro wrestling, which will live on, forever. And there's a lot of great footage of Scott Hall being the band guy and being all these other great characters that he was, the Diamond Stud, because I'm really, really good friends with Dallas, and I know Dallas has put out a lot of great material, to kind of celebrate Scott's life and his career, and it's just it's a tragic loss. It really is, and like I said, my heart goes out to his family. It really do.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Facebook at the Hannibal TV for more live streams and videos. And while you're at it, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Hannibal TV.